Oh, here you are. Yeah. Blessings to you all. Oh, yeah. Blessings. Oh, you sweet ones. Yeah. Thanks for coming. Yeah. We're calling on grace, on Alma's grace, on the Creator's grace to help us open our hearts and open our minds to the eternal truth of us, that we are so much more than just human beings, and to allow this higher intelligence and infinite love into our bodies and our lives at the highest good pace with all the support and encouragement we need. And so it is. Good. Yeah. So the title of today's satsang is Becoming Clear. Now, I know in your hearts, you all want to become clear. I know that you know the cost of your confusion and how uncomfortable confusion is. Although we have to experience confusion in order to become clear. Yeah, so there's no fault. It's just happier being clear, much happier. It's like the clarity of the child. The simplicity and clarity of the child returns to you. And I want to talk about this process because, we're not in physical company. There are no hugs that just, in a way, make the journey so much easier for our mammalian self. This work, I'm working with your energetically and with your intellects and your hearts, but there's no touch involved. And in some ways, that's good, just because sometimes touch can blind us. But these are points on the journey that becomes very confusing without some understanding. We need sort of the structure of the journey. Okay, that's what I want to say. The structure of the journey. This is the kind of the beginning of the bigger journey occurs when you become clear. Before that, you will be kind of in a more confused state, which isn't wrong. Being in that confused state is part of the journey too. It's like I was saying yesterday, it's a very respectable place to be. It's not always comfortable. It actually gets more comfortable as we come into clarity. Okay, so I really want to spell out about clarity. Now, you guys, it takes often at least 2 years to get there, say after encountering a teacher. And sometimes it takes longer. So for you who are just getting on the journey, just listen and open and don't try to do it. Okay, that's the one drawback with spelling this out. I don't want you guys to do it. It's more, you will just be brought to it if you're sincere. Okay, you guys? Truly, we're so loved. If we really want it, we get brought to it. It's like, even just finding a teacher to help spell things out to you is part of your soul bringing this to you. Do you understand? Like, I remember I saw Abraham's, I came to Abraham through a paper hanging on a street lamp. I just walked by and saw it and went, I have to go see this guy. The universe will get you where you need to go. Okay, so for becoming clear, there's several strands I'm going to talk about. In a way, it's such a quantum leap to do this, but I do have to talk about the threads in it. Okay, one of the really big threads is it's shown up in the story about the Arab horse and the seller of the horse. And I've told you this, some of you know this, where it is, I heard it, the story that this still operates in the Arab states, that when they're selling a horse, they will starve the horse for, 2 days. And then they'll open the door out of the stall, and the horse will have a choice between his owner or her owner and food. And the horse that goes directly to the owner first is priced far higher than the horse that goes to the feeding stall. Okay, now this is key for the spiritual journey because actually the same thing operates with students. It is the student that wants the higher awareness so strongly that it comes before food. It comes before anything else. And if you're not there yet, don't worry. It's the same, it's the same, I have to say this, sometimes I send an email out to students and some students ghost me. They just don't reply, which just strikes me as so bizarre. If somebody's actually helping you in the journey, it's exactly the same thing. And, in a situation like that, if you don't feel able to answer, just write back and say, look, I got your email. I'll answer when I can. It is, you guys, it's even connected to the love of Mother Nature, like I said. It's like, we're taught to exploit her. So this can be in all our relationships. It can be in our relationships with our teachers. You see, as you grow, you will see that it's everywhere. Yeah, it just takes time. Okay, so it is the person who over and over again on the journey emerges out of the stall and goes directly to the owner, which is a metaphor for going directly to the soul. Yeah. Okay. The other thread of this was that there, in a way, this place of becoming clear is when you start moving out of your ego. I heard an Eastern sage call that the conditioned ego was like a haunted house. And as we grow, those ghosts and fears and they become healed. They become removed. They dissolve. And the house, you end up, the self-enlightened person just ends up like an empty house. Their old personality is not there anymore. They've actually gone, their ego's gone. All that's left is their true nature shining through their, their bodies and also where the old ego was. Right. And what ego remains is used to serve this light. But as I said, Abraham used to say there'd be like 3% left of the ego. It's basically an empty house. So I want you to at least get an overview of where you're going. And this, you may remember this in 10 years. You don't know when this knowledge will bubble up. I almost said bumble up, right? I'm always talking about bumbling along the journey. It'll just bubble up when you need it, right? There's no demand, there's no pressure. The more spaciousness you feel, the more easy it is to evolve. Yeah, yeah, there's no demand. It's funny, there was a little bit of a hook there when I said the more spaciousness you feel, the easier it is to evolve. Some of you immediately started feeling less spacious. This is the problem with using words, you guys, rather than the nonverbal hugs, but it's all good. Yeah, so remember last week we were talking about the little shack in the courtyard and the bigger palace that was around it. And we imagined Krishna or Amma or Buddha in this palace. And we imagined making channels from this little hut to this bigger understanding. So this satsang about becoming clear is to help you with this process. It's to help you move into the mansion, basically, or to have the center hut become a beautiful part of this huge mansion. I'm wanting to give you some imagery that will open the door to the love power of your soul so you can let it in. Mm-hmm. Ah, sweeties. I know it's very it's quite sad because we get taught to so not let this happen. We get taught to close the door so early. So remember, becoming clear takes at least 2 years after starting, most times. And in a way, you won't have much to show for it on the outside. It is an inner state. I remember Amma saying, so I heard her say this, that the imagery of Christ being born in the manger in the barn was actually a picture of what the journey's like, that when really important things happen, there's no fanfare from the outside, you guys. There's no celebration from the outside. It's a deeply internal event. Okay. Okay, that's what becoming clear is. It's a deeply internal event. And it happens when we begin to make room for our instinctual self, which is what connects us to our true nature. I don't think this is seen or understood. I have never heard this talked about the way I'm going to talk about it. The soul energy, there is some instinctual things that go on in a human that are very much connected to our soul energy. So, if we see somebody who's fallen, there's an instinctual help do something to help. Now, if this is overridden by ego, people walk right by. But the person who has a strong inner child energy will never walk by, even if they're in their ego. Their strong inner child energy will cause them to do something. Okay, so when we're clear, we're walking around inside us. We love and respect this instinctive energy inside. And we're aware that it's different from our egos. Okay, we know it's different. We can feel the difference. And the normal person probably wouldn't even notice there is a difference. And then if they did notice a difference, they still would have very little room for their instinctual energy. Sort of like an unwelcome guest. Somebody who's clear realizes that this instinctual energy is closer to the soul than the ego. So this person who's clear will also have built a container. Okay, you guys, this is very, very important. Really, really important if you want to become clear. You have to build a container inside you. You have to become a container for your true energy, for your being a work in progress is more like it. It's like a container that will hold you. It's like the ability to embrace yourself enough to sit with a conflict without jumping to a solution, to sit with it. You know, the sages talk about rivers get muddy, and if you just, when they're churning, and if you just wait for the river or the lake to stop churning, all the silt falls to the bottom and the water becomes clear again. So in order to have the ability to sit with a conflict, we have to have become a container. Now, this is beginning to become a container for your own true nature. Some of you are, your faces are wild at this. It's lovely. It's lovely. Yeah. So now, in order to become a container, you have to have some freedom from the I'm just a flawed fragment. You have to have some freedom from I'm a miserable sinner. It will just happen that way, you guys. And I'm going to ask that this Zoom is called, the title of the satsang is Becoming Clear. So you guys can know the title if you ever want to listen to it again. It's Becoming Clear, because it's a really, really, really important spiritual step. You can't get anywhere without it. So with this, having some more room for your instinctual energy and some awareness of your conditioning, to have the awareness that you've been asleep that what you've been operating under has been an ego, and it's the shell of you. So in a way, you have to have sprouted to become a container, to be able to be a container and be able to become clear. You have to have sprouted. The shell in you, the ego shell, has to have cracked enough that you can see that you've got this ego and that it isn't helpful. And then you are a container for the struggles of this sprouting ego, who then has to dig the roots down and find the creator, find Amma within you, find the Buddha within you. You will know that you're clear because you will really be able to validate a huge inner change within you, and that you're on a whole new territory. And what's facing you is learning how to walk your soul path. And this requires that you see over and over again the ways your ego hooks you, and that you are aware of, when the ego comes in with the meaning of life is to have a big house. When these kind of thoughts come in, as soon as you can, you recognize them as ego. It's like, so once you're clear and you're a container, you've got a container, so you have the ability to embrace your experience as you are going through a spiritual conflict until the water becomes clear and you're shown what to do, what action to take. So you guys are getting overloaded right now. So I'm just going to just give you a bit of space, even if this has to be edited out. Yeah. Yeah. You see, what else can you do except try to grab this with your heads? Of course you are. I mean, we're in a Zoom. Although there's a huge energy of grace coming to you to help the deepening. We felt it at the end of yesterday's satsang, that a very strong energy of grace coming to help. Because as I said, the universe so wants us to go this way. Yeah. Some of you feel inadequate. No. Oh, there's the ego. Oh, there it is. Yep. Yep. You will get brought to this, you guys. I'm just wanting to make it friendlier for your heads in a way. I'm wanting to introduce your heads to the idea of becoming clear so that it will be easier for you to do it. Because lots of times what happens on the journey, people make progress and then they get alarmed at it. Like some people, when they're becoming more dispassionate, they're able to step back and watch their experience more. They're scared they're becoming unloving. Because this wisdom doesn't feel like the warm fuzzies of giving a baby a hug, you know. So we think we're doing it wrong. We think we're getting cold. We're not. It's just passion. After today, I will be scrolling back from all this to give you guys space to do it. We're not going to keep going at this level of intensity. But you're in this bumping up that happened a couple of weeks ago. And that's why there's been this bigger imagery of the palace surrounding the little hut from last week. It will all happen at the best pace for you. And when you're clear, you won't feel that you've done anything much. You'll be aware of the enormity of the journey. You'll be going, oh my goodness, this is a big journey. You won't be going, oh, I'm so great because I'm clear. You won't. In fact, your teacher will probably be the one to tell you that you're clear. You won't even really think that you've done anything. You might even think your teacher's deluded when she tells you you're clear. This is what the journey's like, you guys. Truly. This is why, I look at Amma and the wisdom of the nonverbal hugs. I'm like, that is it, really. But we're doing it this way. So there must be a reason. And this will help your minds get used to the direction you're going in. It's like having gone over the map a lot of times before the journey. The same principle, anticipating what the journey's, what's going to happen if you're climbing a mountain, what you're going to face, and having a good map and getting prepared for it. This is kind of what this is. We're all bumping up, It was there a couple of satsangs ago. So this is just the living of it, the integration of it. Beautiful the way you are. Okay, I want to talk about becoming a container. It's like when we become a container, we step back a bit from our experience and we allow for a higher intelligence, you guys. It's like, okay, this is really important. In the becoming clear, our intellect is reborn. Okay? You get a higher functioning intellect that shines a light more clearly on your experience. Okay, you're all coming with me on this. And this will show you about your relationships. Now, it is very hard to become enlightened if you're in a situation where you're not seen clearly by others, but it can be done. Okay, it can be done. Like there's a Yogananda's teacher, his wife didn't realize he was enlightened for a long time, for a really long time. I know of somebody else who's enlightened, and his wife even refuses to go on the spiritual journey. So it is possible wherever you are to grow spiritually. But what I have found, you guys, is it makes it much easier if you're surrounded by people with whom you have clear relationships, clear um, good quality relationships. And in these relationships, it's important to observe yourself and your actions. Okay. So I'm going to talk about the importance of being a container and how we pour out our progress. We will pour out our progress by speaking to people who are not interested in the journey, by speaking of spiritual things to people who are not interested, who've shown themselves not to be interested. Sometimes it's useful to speak to somebody about the journey. It's part of how people come to Amma. They hear about her from somebody. But if you're in a situation with somebody who is showing you a million times, they don't want to hear about it. Don't don't pour out your heart. Don't pour out don't talk about it with them. Only keep in mind, you guys, take yourselves where you're valued. Stay with people who see you in your true love power. It's really important. And who, are clear and treat you well. You don't have to, make a big drama about coming unstuck with the others. It's just don't fertilize the relationship. See, your ego would love you to spend time with people who tend to keep the same old stuff going. There's part of us that will feel very comfortable with it. So a couple things. There was a person who had trouble with their family, who was not treated well, wasn't respected, really treated really unfairly by the family. And um, I was working with this person around, containing their learning to be a container. And I was speaking about, as we spoke, this person remembered a time when their mom, like something sweet the mom used to do, and she warmed to this mom, just as she was speaking to me. She remembered this memory, and that's very good work. Okay, what I wanted her to do was, pull back into her container and work with herself around allowing her view of life to become brighter. Do you know? It's like I've talked about that the mammalian mind gets hooked on trauma. And part of becoming a container is knowing this and letting the hooking onto trauma dissipate. So what I wanted her to do was step back into her life with this new information that her mom had been sweeter than she remembered, and let her whole world warm up as a result, so that her vibration go would go would become a more loving vibration, and nicer things would happen to her. Because this is what happened with me as I pulled back and remembered the good things. My family started treating me differently. I didn't take any action other than this inner action. This is all part of becoming clear, you guys. Now, what this woman did, she's an artist, and she, remembering this to about her mom, this good memory, she poured it out. She sent her mom a painting that she'd done. Now, the mother has never valued the painting, but she never really acknowledged it. So this woman went right back into being a needy child, wanting the mom to love her finally through this action. It's just like a little kid picking flowers in the garden, taking them to the mom. Yeah, it's the stepping back, being a container, becoming clear, not maybe taking an action immediately, just being with it. Our ego will love us to keep pouring out our progress. Now, it's unknown what the mother did with this painting. I haven't heard, but I'll tell you, if the mom does something mean in the next while, this will totally, kind of drain this woman of this shift that she's made, this inner shift. It's okay, so it's even getting clearer as I'm speaking. It's like this becoming clear is being centered on the inside, you guys, more than on the outside. There's a way that this training is just developing, and it's like these things are becoming clear, so that in the years to follow, when people come alongside, that it's a very clear thing, that the positions on the journey, the progress in the journey could be made much clearer to them. A book could be written about it, say. It's sort of how steps of theories manifest. It's how trainings manifest. Okay, I can feel there's a clarity coming in some of your tummies. Yeah, and don't worry if you're not feeling it, because many things happen beyond our consciousness, especially at the beginning. The further along on the journey, the more you're aware of the things that are happening in your unconscious, your body. Yeah, that's it. Okay. Okay, you guys. Okay. Um, this is surprising me, but I'm getting a big bulletin here. I'm seeing an image of a chained up soul. You know? And it reminds me of a picture my sister drew or painted when she was 16. And you know, during that expansion that happens when we're 16, we call it sweet 16, and then the prefrontal lobe makes a big shift. So kids do a quantum leap around 16 often. We call it sweet 16 because we can feel a little bit of the soul energy. And this painting was of this chained up figure who, ironically, so my sister's 16, and this figure looks like Amma. I'm not kidding. Now I look at it and I go, that's Amma. She was painting Amma, all chained up. And the title of her, I feel tears coming. The title of this painting was Attention, Attention. Pay attention. Pay attention. You guys, many of you do not pay attention at this level. Your soul is locked up and chained, and you don't even notice. This was a real bulletin coming from the universe here. So I'll tell you, with my imagination, I'm going into the painting and into this image, and I'm cutting the chains. Because that is Pramasuta's knee-jerk reaction to any obstacle. I immediately work with my imagination, immediately, in a second. And progress has shown itself by the fact that this imagination has a lot of power as I've developed. At the first, it didn't. The power of just imagining grew and grew and grew until it became an event. Just like the prayer of a wise person has real power, so does their imagination. So I'm saying this is where the journey takes all of us, you guys. You're overwhelmed again. Some of you are really feeling this image of this chained up soul. And you know that the title was Attention, Attention, Pay Attention. There's so much of our goal, you guys, that we just ignore. We don't pay any attention to. We will criticize it, really. We'll ghost it. We ghost our souls, just like some of you ghost my emails. You don't want to ghost. You need to contain. Part of the reason why we ghost ourselves is we don't know what to do with the information. And that's why it's really important to learn to become a container. You contain yourself, you contain your journey, you stay with your experience. Okay, that is again the becoming clear. You stay with your experience until it's resolved. You contain it, you're with it, you pray, you do everything until the confusion clears and your container then carries more light. This is how you bring light into your bodies and your psyches. I want to come back to the point of, developing discrimination, developing discernment to see what is going on. We all know, like, or seen maybe marriages where where the balance of power is uneven and there's somebody's getting a lot more from the marriage than the other person. We've all seen that. But the thing is, this can happen in friendships. And I want to talk about this. You need to be able to see clearly the quality of your friendships. People who love the truth of you will come along with you. And the people that don't won't. You know, and this is really key too, you guys. So many people go on the spiritual journey emotionally. So it's just emotional. So when that happens, it's it has no staying power. Like it will, if you're facing your deathbed or some big challenge, your faith will go out the window. It's not solid. It's just like pink icing. It was like an idea of pink icing. Yeah, God exists. I'm love, but it's just like it can just get washed away in a second. It is by becoming clear and becoming a container for your energies. Becoming a container for the gradual movement out of your ego into truth, which can take decades. Okay, good. So you may choose to stay friends with somebody, but it's really important to see what's going on because we can get hooked emotionally and be absolutely blinded. So a dear one had talked, he raised in satsang about a dear friend of his who was who is with a partner and begrudged it when he left to see his partner. And, you know, there's no criticism of the friend. It's like we can all get blinded by our own wounding. So if we have fears of abandonment, we might do something like that. And this dear one, you know, is very fond of his friend. But to grow, you have to see the outlines starkly of what is going on. You have to see the outlines of it. Otherwise, we get in bondage. We get lost. We get absolutely lost in other people's. We get lost in our relationships if we don't see clearly, you guys. Suddenly we find that we're giving up our partner to prop up somebody who doesn't want to be abandoned. I mean, that is an extreme of what could happen, but that stuff does happen when somebody's just blinkered and they don't see what's going on. And I'm not talking about, you know, measuring like, well, what I did this for you, so you should do this for me. But notice the broad outlines of your relationships. Notice if you're being fed by them or not. Notice if you're the person who always makes the overtures or who always foots the bill. Just notice this thing. Notice. Especially if you had deficits when you were growing up. You see, we can click right into our deficits and we don't even realize what we're doing. And, none of our friends or our mates are perfect, but we have to see clearly enough to be able to even speak to them clearly. Okay, so I'm going to give you like a kind of a ridiculous example. My ex had a really good sense of humor. And it took me some time to realize that he was actually making very disparaging comments about me, but they were so funny, like I could see his wit. So I'd laugh. And what would get lost is the fact that this was all aimed at pushing me down. You see? I was absolutely blind to it because I'd grown up with it. And so my ego felt very comfortable with it. Now, this is pressing some buttons because there's fear of, abandonment. Some of you are going like, well, who can I be friends with? But I'm talking about, gradually as you go on the spiritual journey, these things will just become obvious to you and you will just do them. You will just take good care of yourself. I don't want you to go up into your heads and like fuss about it. Just ask that Amma bring the knowledge to you when you need it. Okay, I don't want you to go all obsessive about, oh, people are exploiting me. They're not treating me well. I'm not promoting fights. I am promoting awareness. And again, this is a big satsang, and it may, it may cause some of you to go to may cause you to be invited into your heads, and you can watch that because it's not what I'm wanting. But it's like this work is very feminine. I don't think this feminine realm gets enough airtime in the spiritual journey. And so what happens is because this emotional level is not acknowledged. I see people who've been on the journey for 30 years and they're still not taking care. They're still not clear. They're still not containing their energies. They're still not being aware of their relationships. And this is why I'm highlighting it. I don't think it's valued enough, this level. Like it's, in my experience, Amma's work includes this level, but it's not talked about often. I'm just talking about it, highlighting it. Hopefully, I want to validate you guys, like validate your human experience, sort of to make it okay that you're a human on the journey and you'll just bumble into this knowledge. You just will. And at the same time, there's some of you guys who are really focused on self-realization and some of you who just want to kind of have an expanded heart. So just use what you can of this, what works for you. In the just being in this energy for a bit will help. It is, you have to become clear. You have to some degree, become non-attached. And the position of being non-attached is when you are attached to the creator, to the inner Amma, more, and to other people and material things less. So say an unawakened person is like 1% attached to their inner self and 99 attached to people and the world and material things. And as you grow, say, like becoming clear, maybe it's 60% attached to people, material things, and 40% attached to the creator. Just like the horse, being like the horse who goes to the owner first, being you take your reference the creator in where you're going. You include the creator in where you're going. You do not just say, okay, this job pays better and I'm going to do it, when in your heart, the cells of your body are saying, don't do it. It's going to add more stress. Or in some cases, it would be the thing your soul wants. Yeah, take that job. That's good. At which point you will feel lighter and more airy. You'll feel more space around yourself. You guys, this will just become clear over time. I feel like the waters are all churned up. So just be with it. No, really, just be with it. Contain it. Be with it. And when I say contain it, I'm not saying like put a lid on it with your head. Just be with it. Just be with it. Be the container for the what is she talking about? What is going on here? Am I clear? Am I not? Just be with it all. Yeah. In our families, we can become a little more non-attached to them if they're not helpful, but without making, we don't have to make any song and dance, just see them less. Just take care of yourself. Right. Be intelligent. Let your soul intelligence guide you. Your soul knows. Your soul knows who to spend time with. Amma says again and again, just don't just focus on her, like take everything to her. Not to talk things out with other people. Although, sometimes if you got a good counselor, that can be helpful. But there's a point on the journey where it becomes easy to just take everything to Amma. Again, you can't force that, you guys. It comes when it comes. Some of you are getting some big challenges that reflect like this bumping up of this work. Some of you are like, you're being forced to confront some things that you haven't seen so clearly. That's how it happens, you guys. That's how development happens. Just be with it. It'll get solved. You might see where you were caught in your ego, where you've been caught in your ego. Might be shocking. It's okay. Just embrace it all. Embrace it all. Keep talking to Amma. Keep talking to your soul. You know, come back to the horse again, the horse that keeps going to the owner. You just keep doing that over and over again. The sincerity, having that kind of sincerity. You just live like that, and you will make enormous progress as a byproduct. You just will. The other thing is we can be so aware of our frailties that we don't acknowledge the sincerity and our courage. We don't see it. I want you to see it, you guys. Value yourselves, you know. And remember, your soul loves you. And Amma talks about how the soul gives in to the personality sometimes. Like the story of she told about the child on the bus and the child wants a banana. And the mom first says, no, you can't, we're on the bus. And the child insists, and the mom says, no, you can't. And then finally she goes to the bus driver and says, can we stop and pick a banana? And he stops, the kid gets the banana. It's like sometimes our soul, like, okay, it doesn't have to be all the way of the soul. The soul will cut us some slack. It will just, you know, it knows we're human. Our humanity is important too, you guys. This is what I'm saying. It's a value, it's to be respected. Our soul respects our humanity, and our soul works with our humanity. The struggle with integrity is if you think of a pack of cards that's in perfect order, and then you think of a pack of cards, all the possible ways the pack of cards could be organized. There'll be millions and millions of different orders for those cards. So this is the problem with coming to integrity. There are millions and millions of ways to be chaotic. There is one way to have integrity. There is one choice that your soul will be asking you at any point in time. It'll be asking you to sort of do the thing that is the pack of cards in perfect order that leads there. And it can be very chaotic. It can look very chaotic, all the different ways that packs of cards could be. This is why it's really important to learn to be a container, listen to your body, listen to your heart really, really deeply, and you will get the guidance about the clearest action you can take. And only you will know that it's the right thing, or, an awakened person with an awakened observer could see that you're making the right choice. But often the people around us can't tell. It is the focus on the creator and the devotion to the creator, the Amma, to your soul, that brings you to embodying your soul energy. how much you want it. That's what you'll get. Every state you're in, no matter what is going on with you, it is a respectable state on the journey. Please get that. There's nothing wrong. This is what the journey's like. We've all come in with our own particular gigs. Some are like heavy lifters. Amma says, I heard her say this. Some people are like heavy lifters on the journey, and some people can't carry that much. And it's all beautiful. That's what I want to leave you guys with. It's all beautiful. It's like a garden. Amma talks about the ashram like a forest. It's, or like a garden. It's like we're all like these flowers. We've all got different gigs. We've all got different life things. It's all very, very, very beautiful and valuable. That's it. Even in motherhood, all mothers have hard days, and the kids have hard days too as a result. And they're just some hard days sometimes, but the mom knows the kids are priceless anyway. And she knows she's doing her best. It's all good. It's just what life is like here. This is good. Okay, this is good. There's this sprouting energy that I'm feeling. That's it. So if you guys, you get how loved you are, about how wherever you are, it's all good. It's all very valuable. Amma talks about how even the worst person in the world, or even the most broken watch, is correct in time twice a day, twice in 24 hours. Same with the worst person in the world, she'll say, like that they will, God is in them and will show somewhere. Right. You're always, always precious, valuable wherever you are. And when we become clear, we realize this. This is kind of what we sprout into. Right. There's restlessness happening. Yeah. We sprout into this feeling of being loved, you guys. We sprout into being more bonded to the Creator. This is where sprouting takes us. We sprout into a higher intellectual capacity. We become more capable of dispassion and kind of an abstraction. That's it. That's it. I feel like you guys, I'm seeing a picture of plants in a sort of a plug-in thing where all these pots are in this plug-in thing that is keeping them warm. Like just the little, when you start planting in the spring, you get the seed warmer. Yeah, that's it's the image I'm seeing. Yeah, you guys, the answer is always awakening to the fact there's more love here than we realized. Yeah, that we're more loved. That is the progress. That's it. It's like when I would realize that Amma like got me all along so much. She understood me so deeply. I kept falling over this. Oh, she gets all this. Right. That's it. That's it. This is it. That's it. It's just sort of to support and reassure you enough that you don't give up. Because if we give up, where do we go? There's nowhere to go. Always, always, that's it, valued, right? This was my, dream to be able to communicate how valuable we are because you see, it was so hard for me to realize this. Yeah. And even the struggles, our willingness to just keep going, even if we're feeling like mess ups and things aren't going well, just the continuing is like so celebrated from heaven's perspective. I saw a near death experience where this woman, the whole near death thing was about how the angels had like praising her for that she got up every morning. Really, that was her experience, her near death experience, being praised for getting up every morning and facing life. How beautiful is that? Really, from the my experience of Amma, she deeply knows what we face, and so do the angels and all the helping energies. They all know what we're facing and how hard it can be. That's it. I almost gave up halfway through my journey. I really did. It was really nip and tuck. And the only thing that kept me going was I just, it was like, well, where else am I going to go? If I don't continue the journey, I'm just going to see a lot of darkness with no possible cure, with no possible solution. And if I keep going on the journey, there's at least a hope that the light will come. And of course, by continuing, the light really came after that dramatically. I got dramatic, huge light after going through that. However dark it is, there will be the equal amount of light. There are angels speaking to you all the time. Personally, I think our angels speak with each other. If we're in a relationship, I think our guardian angels speak with each other to help promote the relationship. I do. I do. Or to help if the relationship should end, for how that can totally, we're so loved, you guys. This is what the harshness of my life has shown. Like it was been so harsh in some ways, but like so incredibly beneficent. And I was saved at every turn. Yeah. So, you guys, the power of your innocence, the power of your child heart, Become a container so you can hear your little child, make room for your little child. That is another way of saying becoming clear, that you are a container and you hold the energies for, the ego and for your little child energy and the creator. And that's how you live your life. And as you go forward, you become more just filled with light. Yeah, especially at this time. Yeah. Remember yesterday and my phone recorded just on its own. That was the creator. That was Amma keeping a record of it. Truly, we get saved. Okay, has anybody got any questions or comments? The whole group, you all got closer to the loving truth of things. In our Western world, we tend to think of the truth as harsh and brutal, and actually, the truth is love. It is how loved we are. And we're the ones who were taught not to allow it. But you can allow it. There's an interplay of all your lives, so sometimes people who are really talented musically have had like 15 lives in a row with music. And they're the ones who are absolutely the top of the line. Yeah. And when you you create your next life by all your wishes this life of what you want. So if you want spirituality, you really want it and you serve it this life, the next life, you will have more opportunities for it. It's how it works, you guys. We're not like helpless victims. The universe follows us too. I'm going to tell you this, but I'm going to Judy edit it out. But I'm going to tell you guys when I was just 30 in my, I guess maybe just turning 40, and I went to a very illuminated channel, and this channel said that I was going to bring a kind of teaching to the West, and that it was extremely uncommon, and that part of the reason people would believe me is because I have had so many lives as an aristocrat or a rich person. That there was this, hey, I think it, so listen. I think that is such a comedy. That is such a comedy. But, I really think it's true. I really think it's true. Yeah. Yeah. And, for some reason, I would have chosen these lives. And one of the things I found in this life was levels and levels of shame that I was carrying for in these lifetimes of being very wealthy or queen or king or something, of where I did not act, or where I fell somehow, where I, did something that, it's like really high standards I had to live up to. And then when I fell, I felt this huge shame, and I felt all this shame from these lives. And that was part of me dumping my shame. I'm okay the way I am. But I just think that's so funny about part of the reason people blame me. And this is the interplay of our humanity and our soul selves, Yeah. It's all so, we're so loved utterly on all levels, and our humanity is loved and understood. And angels praise us for getting up in the morning, which, you know what? That makes total sense to me. When this woman said it, I thought, I really bet this is true. Yeah. Yeah. So there's this greater love that some of you are feeling, a greater sort of relaxation and peace. And the whole journey is to relax into the love and learn to trust it, to trust that it's there, even if there's sometimes you can't see it. Or, like I used to feel like, there was some Satan in the sky operating, but it was, it wasn't like, I didn't seriously believe in Satan. I kind of knew it was like ego stuff. Yeah, that's it. And I'm feeling some of you, it's interesting that I talked about shame, because some of you are, it's like this shame is getting dislodged. It's a little bit like you're going to be able to see it. Yeah, you're going to be able to see the shame that keeps you in certain situations. It's just like what I'm talking about. It's like putting up with unwholesome relationships because underneath one's kind of ashamed of one's true nature. Yeah, I feel like the shame is actually beginning to be dislodged, and you're going to see it. You're going to see it first and then let it go. Yeah, that's it. That's it. That's it. That's very good, you guys. Underneath our egos, it's like even underneath the mind knows that we're not in truth and is kind of relieved to be helped back to truth. Just like sometimes a serial killer gets relieved to be caught. It's the same principle with our minds and egos. There's sometimes just relief that it's can change. Okay, this has been a big satsang, and we will probably scroll back for integration of all of this, and then also practical help for how to do all this. And remember, with this warmth you're feeling, you'll get integration. So just walk through the integration. Ama, 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 ama. Just be your song. Ama, 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 ama. That's it. That's it. Let your mantra be your song of life. It's beautiful. Oh, you guys, you're so dear. Okay. Bless your dear heart. Okay, we'll see you next week. And in a couple of weeks, we'll do another dream and memory satsang. Yeah. Thank you, thank you, thank you for coming. Thank you. And so I figure out how to come up. I always get here. I